I am standing in the lobby of a hotel at midnight, bathed in the dim glow of antique chandeliers. Above me, the crystal pendants of the chandeliers hang like frozen stars, each facet catching the faint light and holding it in silent reverie. The air is still and thick, with a silence that hums just beneath the edge of hearing. I can almost hear the echo of time passing in the distant tick of a clock that I cannot see. The marble floor beneath my feet gleams faintly, reflecting distorted shapes of furniture and pillars around the room. Each step I take produces a soft tap that dissolves into the vast emptiness before it can return as an echo. I feel as if I'm walking inside a living memory, carefully preserved in midnight quiet. There is a hint of perfume in the air, a faded sweetness, like flowers pressed between old book pages. I breathe in slowly, letting the scent mingle with the hush of the lobby and settle my thoughts. A grand staircase curves up into shadows, its steps covered in a thick burgundy carpet that muffles my footfalls. I pause by the reception desk, and the old wood counter feels smooth and cool under my fingertips. An open guest book lies on the counter, its pages yellowed with age and filled with flowing script. My eyes drift over the names written there, but the ink has faded into illegibility as if the names themselves have been forgotten by time. I try to recall my own name, expecting to see it echo in my mind, but it slips away like a shadow retreating from dawn. The realization settles softly in my chest. I cannot remember my name, not here, not within these walls. Strangely, this does not frighten me. It feels almost natural in this quiet place where the past seems distant and gentle. A small brass bell sits on the desk, and I give it a gentle tap. The ring is soft and distant, as though muffled by the years, and no one comes to answer its call. Behind the desk, a panel of numbered cubbyholes holds a single key on display. It is attached to a heavy leather fob embossed with the number 26. It feels like this key has been left here for me, an unspoken welcome in the emptiness. I take the key, and the metal is cool against my skin. Turning away from the desk, I carry it toward the grand staircase to find my room. Each step up the staircase reveals new angles of the ornate railings. I slide my hand along the banister as I climb, the wood cool and reassuring under my touch, worn smooth by the hands of countless travelers before me. A soft amber light from the chandelier below dances on the wall beside me as I ascend. At the top of the stairs, a long corridor stretches out into shadow. It is lined with doors on either side, illuminated by wall sconces that cast a gentle, golden glow along the patterned carpet. The patterned carpet along the hallway is soft under my feet, and the air holds a slight chill that raises the hairs on my arms. The wallpaper here is ornate, patterned in gold and cream that repeats endlessly along the corridor. At the edges of my vision, the design seems to waver, as if the hallway itself were alive and quietly shifting. I walk slowly, reading the brass numbers on each door as I pass. 22, 23, 24. My footsteps slow as I approach the middle of the hallway. 25, 26. And then I see it. Room 27. The number on the door is tarnished and dull, hanging slightly askew, as if it hasn't been polished in ages. On the handle hangs a faded "Do Not Disturb" sign by a fraying cord, so coated in dust that its words are barely readable. Unlike the other doors, which show subtle scuffs of use, this one stands pristine but ancient, as though preserved in time. A heavy silence seems to gather around it, even deeper than the quiet of the rest of the hotel. I step closer and gently place my hand on the door. The wood is solid and ancient, its grain rough beneath my fingertips. For a moment, I imagine I hear something from within, perhaps the faintest sigh or whisper, but when I hold my breath to listen, there is only silence. The door is locked, the handle unmoving when I test it, as if it has surrendered to rust and age. A sense of mystery washes over me, a gentle intrigue rather than alarm. It feels as though this room has been waiting in this stillness for someone to notice it. I've heard tales and whispers at the edge of memory that room 27 has been locked for decades, untouched by any guest. The reason why remains hidden, lost to time, much like the names that fade from the guest book. Reluctantly, I pull myself away from the silent door of room 27 and continue down the hallway to room 26, where I am meant to stay. The key turns in the lock of my room with a quiet click. I step inside and am greeted by a breath of air carrying the faint scent of dust and old linen. The room is modest and old-fashioned. High ceilings arch above, and wallpaper of faded gold patterns is illuminated by the gentle glow of a single lamp on the bedside table. A large bed with a wooden frame stands against one wall, neatly made with a heavy patchwork quilt. In the corner, a tall mirror in an ornate frame reflects the dim light, and I catch a glimpse of myself within it. For a moment, I stare at my own face, softly illuminated, and notice a distant look in my eyes as if part of me is elsewhere. I search my reflection for any hint of recognition, expecting my name or past to surface, but nothing comes. There is only a gentle familiarity in the face I see, the calm acceptance of a stranger who is somehow also me. Though the bed looks inviting, I feel a restlessness in my bones, a quiet pull that urges me back into the halls of the hotel. Leaving my luggage, if I had any at all, unattended, I step out of room 26 and softly close the door behind me. The corridor is as silent as before, as if the walls themselves are holding their breath. Instead of returning to room 27 immediately, I decide to explore more of the hotel's secrets that whisper in the darkness. My feet carry me back down the grand staircase to the ground floor, each step slow and deliberate. In the stillness, I wander away from the lobby, letting my curiosity guide me down a hushed corridor where faint light dances on patterned wallpaper. Through an open doorway, I catch sight of a grand dining hall bathed in darkness and moonlight. Long tables are set with gleaming china and crystal, each place perfectly arranged as if awaiting guests that never arrived tonight. High windows permit pale beams of moonlight to fall across empty chairs. An immense silence hangs over the rows of untouched plates and silent cutlery, like a hushed breath never released. I realize I had been holding my own breath, and I let it out slowly. The gentle sigh of air sounds loud for an instant before it is absorbed by the vast stillness once more. Further down the hall, I come upon a pair of double doors left slightly ajar, revealing the hotel ballroom beyond. I step inside for a moment and find a vast space of polished marble floors and tall mirrors lining the walls. My footfalls are gentle, yet even a single step sends a soft echo rippling through the air before it is swallowed by the emptiness. Ghostly reflections in the tall mirrors repeat the lone piano and moonlit floor, multiplying the silence and making the hall feel like an endless, empty dream. In the corner stands a grand piano, its lid propped open and its bench empty, illuminated by a solitary shaft of moonlight from the skylight above. For a heartbeat, I imagine soft music once swirling here, couples dancing under chandeliers now dark. But all that remains is an echo of that former joy, gentle and distant. I leave the ballroom in reverent silence and continue on until I discover a smaller, cozy lounge tucked away at the end of the hall. Here I find an array of high-backed chairs and velvet sofas arranged around a marble fireplace. Above the mantel hangs a large painting of a twilight landscape, a still lake under a fading sky. its colors softened by time and dust. The faint aroma of extinguished firewood lingers, and in the hearth, a few glowing embers remain, pulsing gently like the heart of the room. I sink into a plush armchair that sighs softly under my weight. A long, quiet breath escapes me as I settle, my shoulders releasing tension I hadn't realized I was holding, my body slowly unwinding into the cushions. For a while, I simply sit there, absorbing the hush and solitude, feeling the quiet thrum of the hotel around me. On a small table beside me rests an old gramophone, its brass horn pointed to the ceiling. As I watch, the turntable slowly rotates with a barely audible crackle, as if it had been playing a tune that just faded moments before I arrived. A soft melody hangs in the air, or perhaps only in my mind, a lullaby-like strain that is both melancholic and comforting. On the table, I notice a small leather-bound book of poetry, its cover worn by years of touch. I open it at a ribbon bookmark and find a verse that seems to speak to this very hour. In midnight's hush, memories gently stray. The weight of the world and name melts away. In nameless quiet, the soul remains true, drifting through darkness, peaceful and new. I whisper these lines, and they settle in the quiet air like a gentle incantation, bringing comfort to my heart. I close the book softly and set it down, its wisdom joining the silence around me. I close my eyes and listen, letting the phantom notes of the melody weave through my thoughts. In this half-dreaming state, I sense the presence of memories all around, drifting like motes of dust in a sunbeam just out of reach. The hotel feels alive in its quiet way, as if it has been watching countless lives pass through, their joys and sorrows absorbed into the walls. I contemplate my own presence here and the hazy edges of my memory. Who am I wonder, without the story of my past or even a name to call my own? The thought that should trouble me instead feels oddly liberating in this hushed midnight sanctuary. In the absence of memory, I am simply a soul at rest, a quiet observer drifting through a quiet world. And for now, that is enough. I wonder how many names have been lost here, how many stories have gently unraveled within these rooms until nothing remained but silence. My thoughts circle back to room 27, that silent sentinel in the corridor upstairs, holding on to its mystery. I feel a gentle tug of curiosity, an urging from somewhere deep within, or perhaps from the hotel itself, beckoning me to return to that locked door. Before I follow that call upstairs, I notice a glimmer of silvery light beckoning from beyond a pair of French doors at the far end of the lounge. Curious, I rise from the armchair and make my way to the doors, discovering a small courtyard illuminated by the moon. I step outside into the cool night air, and the door whispers shut behind me. The courtyard is enclosed by the wings of the hotel, a secret garden bathed in gentle blue light. Stone pathways marked with moss lead around a dry fountain, and climbing ivy covers the old walls, leaves shimmering softly with dew. Beds of night-blooming flowers release a delicate fragrance, a mix of jasmine and something unknown that soothes with each breath I take. Above, the sky is a tapestry of stars, countless eyes watching kindly from the darkness, their light traveling years to reach this quiet place. In the face of such immense beauty, the thought of my forgotten name drifts further away, unimportant for now. Out here, I am not a name or a past, but simply a living soul, breathing under the cosmos, safe and unseen. I tilt my head back and drink in the sight of the constellations, and for a moment I feel wonderfully small and connected to the vastness. The moon hangs low and full, casting a pale glow over the courtyard. I close my eyes to savor the cool breeze that carries the faint scent of the sea, or perhaps a distant rain. Somewhere beyond the garden walls, a chorus of crickets adds a soft rhythm to the silence, each gentle chirp accentuating the stillness of the hour. From far off, a solitary owl releases a single mellow hoot, a brief salutation to the night before all becomes still once more. In this tranquil haven, I feel the weight of time and memory ease from my shoulders, replaced by a quiet resolve. The tug in my heart toward room 27 grows clearer, not urgent, but patient and steady, like the moonlight guiding me forward. After a while, I return to the French doors and slip back into the lounge, bringing with me the crisp freshness of the night. Back inside, the lounge remains unchanged, empty and peaceful. But I notice something on the table beside the gramophone. Next to the oil lamp and the old book of poetry, there lies a key I had not seen before. My breath catches slightly as I lean forward to pick it up, heart gentle in my chest. The key is heavy and cold, its metal marked with the patina of age, and tied to it is a faded tag with the number 27 etched by hand. I turn the key over in my palm, recognizing it from old stories and my own quiet hopes. It is the key to the locked room. How it came to be here, I do not know. But in a place like this, such questions feel unneeded. The hotel offers up its secrets in its own time, and tonight it seems to offer this one to me. With the old key secured in my hand and the oil lamp from the table held gently aloft, I rise from the armchair, leaving the quiet lounge behind, and make my way back to the staircase. Each step upward is hushed and measured, the hotel seeming to watch in patient silence as I return to the corridor of rooms. The door to room 27 waits at the end of the hall, unchanged yet now holding the promise of revelation in its worn frame. As I move toward it, the gentle light of my lamp sends the elongated shadows stretching across the hallway, and it feels as though even the walls are watchful and expectant. My heart beats steadily, calmly, as I approach and lift the heavy key toward the lock. A quiet sense of destiny surrounds me, as though this moment has been waiting patiently through the years for my arrival. For a moment, I hesitate, feeling the weight of years in the simple act of turning this key. Then, with a quiet inhale, I guide the key into the lock. It fits perfectly, as though welcoming my arrival. I apply the slightest pressure, and with a soft, resonant click, the lock yields. The handle turns under my hand, stiff from disuse. Slowly, the door drifts open and releases a breath of cool, stale air from the darkness beyond. I cross the threshold slowly, lamp in hand, and the room greets me with a cool, motionless air that carries the dust of time. My lamplight stretches into the room, illuminating motes of dust in the air. I find myself standing in a space frozen in a bygone era. A large four-poster bed stands against one wall, its sheets rumpled and half pulled back as though someone left it in great haste. Nearby, a writing desk sits by the window, and a wardrobe stands slightly ajar with a ghost of fabric visible in its dark maw. On the floor beside it, a leather suitcase lies partially open, a few garments still inside waiting patiently for a journey never taken. A velvet armchair has been drawn up to an ornate rug in the center of the room, positioned as if someone had once sat there to read or reflect. A fine layer of dust coats every surface, sparkling faintly in the lamplight with each step I take inside. On a small vanity by the bed, a delicate glass perfume bottle and a single dried rose in a vase remain undisturbed, their once sweet fragrance now just a ghost in the air. It is the same faded perfume I detected in the lobby, a gentle reminder of the presence that lingered here long ago. On the desk lies an open journal beside a fountain pen tipped on its side, as though someone had been writing and stopped abruptly. With curious reverence, I approach the desk. Gently, I run a fingertip over the brittle pages, careful not to disturb the delicate script with any sudden motion. The last entry is short and fragmented, the ink a ghostly sepia. The final sentence trails off mid-thought, as if the writer lost their words to the silence at the end. Scanning the page, I decipher a few faint phrases. Slipping away, and my name. The rest is lost in an indistinct scrawl of desperation turned to quiet. A soft ache blooms in my chest as I realize that the soul who once stayed here was touched by the same gentle oblivion that haunts these halls. I sense a kinship with this long gone guest, as if our experiences fold into one another across time. Standing here in the silent sanctuary of someone's memories, I feel the veil in my own mind begin to lift. In the quiet hush of room 27, I finally remember a name, my name, emerging from the shadows of forgetfulness like a star appearing in a night sky. The missing piece of me slides quietly back into place, and I realize that I have always been here, always myself, even without that name. Yet its return brings a gentle completeness to my heart. The realization doesn't startle me. Instead, it settles warmly in the core of my being, bringing with it a gentle sense of relief. I whisper my name softly into the stillness, and the room seems to exhale, as if recognizing the sound. Tears gather in my eyes, not of sorrow or fear, but of a deep, quiet gratitude and release. I close the old journal and carefully set it aside. My heart sends a silent thank you to the soul who left these words behind, guiding me to find what I'd lost. For a while, I remain in the room, simply breathing and existing, sharing the space with echoes of the past in amicable silence. There is no rush within me now, no lingering unease, only a calm understanding that memory and identity ebb and flow like the tides outside an unseen shore. When I finally step back into the hallway, I leave the door of room 27 slightly ajar, allowing a sliver of golden lamplight to spill into the corridor. It feels like a promise that this room will not be lost to darkness again. Memories once forgotten can be remembered, and what is locked can one day be opened. I carry the key with me as I return to my own room. Perhaps I no longer need it, for the door to memory has already been unlocked within me. Back in room 26, I prepare to rest at last, setting the lamp on the bedside where its gentle glow warms the shadows. The quilt on the bed is soft and heavy as I pull it over me, and the mattress embraces my tired body. My head sinks into the pillow, which holds a whisper of lavender and old linen, a soothing scent that lulls me further into calm. Lying here, I listen to the subtle sounds of the night around me. I hear the faint creak of the old building settling and the soft whisper of a distant breeze through a cracked window. Where there was once an unsettling silence, I now find a lullaby in the quiet, a soothing presence in the darkness, as if the hotel itself hums a gentle goodnight. My mind drifts, wandering no more through questions or corridors, but settling like a feather on the edge of sleep. My limbs feel heavy and warm beneath the quilt, every muscle given over to rest. I feel the weight of my own eyelids, heavy and serene, and I let them close without resistance. Images float behind my eyes as I start to dream. I picture the tarnished number on a door, a key turning in the lock, a light spilling into long held darkness. These visions fade into a haze as my breathing deepens, each inhale and exhale slower than the last. A profound peace washes over me, as gentle as the wave of sleep that finally breaks over my consciousness. Wrapped in newfound comfort and the quiet assurance of who I am, I allow myself to slip fully into slumber. If for a few moments, I catch the faint patter of rain against the window panes, each drop a tiny lullaby from the world outside. In this mysterious hotel of midnight memories, I sleep, and all around me, the night holds me in its tender embrace.